We've been distracted.
Oh, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Un poquito.
Pleasantly distracted. Who doesn't love sweet little baby goslings?
Baby geese!
Aren't they amazing?
They're full up. They got a swole up little crop neck space. It's great.
Oh, it's so good. We have been off grid, guys, for a while. No internet and
No cell service.
Yes.
If it was sunny, we occasionally had some. All of you who've gone super rural, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, oh, the clouds came. I guess.
I'm back to 1 bar.
Oh, that's good.
And I can only send text messages.
Occasionally.
Occasionally.
And sometimes you send somebody a text message and they text you back like 15 days later. They're like, so what did you think about that? You're like, oh. Anyway, so we've been really, really off grid for a good long while now. We went through some crazy moves last time we talked to y'all. And that led us on a wonderful adventure. And you know what? We had been living a lot more city-like. Let's just be super transparent, you guys. The Reynolds had been living a lot more city-like since we got out of the RV. And so because of that, we did not do animals.
We were Airbnb-ing it up.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
Because it's hard to find rentals, y'all.
Especially if you've owned your own house before. If you owned houses before and then you've never rented forever. It's a mess. Anyways, so we have relocated to a very rural place.
And we can have animals now! You know what? The Reynolds are funny because we have had birds on and off even the whole time we were mobile.
Here's Pearl Rabbit. And I want to show you Happy Quail on the road. They love to be outside. Sweet little birds. Hi birdies, good morning. And we got him this little mobile chicken tractor. But it's the best thing about this is it's collapsible. It's fully collapsible. So it's got hinges here and a handle, and it literally folds up like a card table. And we can stow it away while we're traveling. So this has been a good solution for keeping birdies on the road.
We raised a little baby guinea in a 1-day-old guinea.
1-day-old guinea I found on the side of the rumble strip on the road.
Yes, and he brought it back and he's like, do you think that you can keep this alive? And I'm like, I'll sure try. And I kept it alive for a couple weeks and in the forest. And then and Nathan made it a bamboo, cute little chicken tractor out of, A-frame chicken tractor out of bamboo.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Nathan? Oh my. Wow.
I am building sweet little tiny, helping tiny little wild turkey have a little lid on her cage because that little tiny bird, she's so sweet. I have to say, we're moderately in love with turkeys.
Hi, Maple.
Way more than chickens because they really like to be under the foot. It's so sweet.
And turkeys are amazing because they eat earwigs, ticks, cockroaches, you know, all those super bothersome insects. We'll see how this goes. All right. Nay, tell them what this is. Maple's little chicken run.
This is little Maple's chicken run. She's playing and we got her food and her little beds.
She's so happy she has some sun.
For when she's going to bed.
There's her food.
This looks,
although she wild forages everything.
Little plants that the little plants, but they're already there growing. So we're just a little bit.
Yeah, Nathan and Josh made this awesome little coop.
And
it's got a little handle,
my dad,
and we can lift it up and move it. It's a little chicken tractor.
Dad, he got this chick for us. He saved it off of the side of the highway.
Yeah, she's so sweet too.
She's a cute little birdie.
We didn't know she was guinea. We thought she was a turkey. And
Rookies.
she just was screaming all the time and just peeping. And we just thought that she was lonely. So then we got her two turkeys. And then she stopped crying. And she was so happy. And we had them for one day. And then we took them out foraging. We had a little accident. Naomi accidentally couldn't keep track of all the birds and stepped back on Maple, the little wild guinea, and broke her neck. It was so sad. So then we were left with the 2 turkeys, and I was really sad, and I didn't even want to raise them. I'm like, I don't want to raise them.
Chelsea gets kind of
I'm
extreme.
like, these aren't like the wild. The wild guinea was so cool. So then we were left with the 2 turkeys.
Narragansetts.
Yes, the Narragansett.
The Narragansett, a very regal bird.
Which were hilarious because they were so tame because we hand raised them. I don't know if you guys remember seeing some pictures or videos of them, but they were so tame. And I mean, we would be hanging out at the creek and we'd walk a little ways and we'd call to them and they'd fly down the creek and land on something right by us. They just like they would always follow us everywhere, ride on the stroller.
Peck at me. I liked them.
The best.
My favorite thing about them was they were just like a really, hey, there's some rules in here. Listen, that's the hide. You don't tear up my hide. Do you understand? This is why I don't have a dog.
Magnolia.
No wolves in this house.
This is Magnolia.
If you're a keeper of flocks, generally not a good idea to have birds and dogs.
Yeah.
It goes badly. Almost always. Almost every animal.
Or cats.
Or cats. Cats
Probably
are far
not a good
more
idea
risky
either.
because they get the flightiness, you know, and they're all tiny lions. You raise lions and wolves. Most of you in your house domesticatedly.
They really do.
You really raise lions and wolves. They'll all eat you if you die.
We did too
All of
when we
them.
lived in a house.
Been there, done that.
We did too.
Picked up poop with tiny plastic bags and warm, stinking poop all the time. Just think about it. Super biohazardous, nasty stuff. Like
Parasites, guys.
toxoplasmosis. It's a mind-controlled bug that lives inside the bowels of your cat.
Yeah.
Prevalently.
Not good.
It lives inside mice. That's where it wants to be. But then it tricks the mice into going... It hacks their brain straight up. Looks it up. It's crazy. It literally crawls up inside them, hacks into the neurons of the brain, and it starts telling it, shut down those pleasure centers that you're used to that would inhibit you from seeking pleasure from cats. You know, like the instinct to survive in a mouse, to not go near felines that stink like ammonia pee. It turns that off, and it tells them, go straight for it, buddy. It'll be your friend. And the mouse does. The mouse tries to become friends. It becomes like attracted to cats. And then it makes them want to be around them all the time until the cat eats it. Eats them up. And when it's inside the cat, the parasite's like, sucker, I got you now. And then it just propagates inside the cat. And then the cat poops it out. And then you clean out that poop.
And then
and then
lick.
you get it in you. And they lick their butts. And then they lick your face. And you're like, it's so cute. It loves me.
Little sandpaper tongue.
It's grooming my face. It's so cute. It's spreading parasites into your body that then go into your brain and turn off your inhibitor centers, and then it makes you attracted to stuff that you shouldn't be. It's not a joke, you guys. Detox is super effective. Check out wormwood and black walnut extract.
And I'm not hating on cats. I love cats. I was the crazy cat lady, totally.
That's what it turned you into. She was all jacked up on cat parasites.
I probably was.
It's not a joke.
No, for real.
Reynolds don't mess around.
I detoxed so hard. Labor contraction stance. It's just a default that my body knows well when I'm going through severe stomach cramps.
Come on, Mom.
I'm like salivating a little right now. It hurts so bad. The only thing I can compare this to is childbirth cramps. Level of detox going on. Oh, so painful. A couple years ago, and I know that was parasites probably that I picked up from, well, all the years.
Parasitic mind control.
All the years of eating pork too, and then
mussels and oysters and
then the
all
cats
the parasites.
too. So gross, guys. Anyways,
we don't eat gato. We also don't keep gatos.
No.
These things live entirely off pasture. It's the greatest thing ever, and they don't destroy an orchard. And I'm planting orchards like crazy right now. I'm putting in thousands of edible and medicinal plants on various different properties right now. And it's just an incredible labor of love that I've wanted to do forever.
I followed the advice that Billy Bonds gave me when he came out here. He came out here a few months ago. I don't know. I literally have lost track of all time. It's wonderful. I'm totally feral right now. It's fantastic. But he came out here and he literally showed me how to prune these trees. You know? You guys might have seen it. Some of you might have watched it. This was right before the Reynolds went off grid. He showed me how to like prune these trees and select leaders, right? And then there's the food forest I put around it. Here's a food forest I put around this one. Kiwis, yeah. Trefoil. I don't even know what you are. Oh, these are cranberries. These are cranberries. Cranberries! Hey, check that out! Cranberries! Good for you, buddy. We got cranberries in here. We got more of that showy tick foil. Self-heal, medicinal herbs. That's the one we train. Look at him. Much better. Put those things on him. I need to come in here and train all these now. A lot more work to do. But for today, it's finished. Hallelujah.
And so my family is getting to do something that they love, which is keeping in the vlogs. Tell them about your vlog life.
I love birds. I love birds so much, and I can have a lot of birds now, and I'm so happy. We have the most amazing hens, you guys. They are, I call them the Happy Hens Club because they are the happiest hens on the block.
There you go.
Here's our ladies eating our clover on the pasture. Hi. Who are you? Oh, I think this is blueberry
It's
right
blueberry.
Jungle Fowl. How are you, my Happy Hands Club? Chick-chickens, chick-chickens. Hi. Oh, get that mulch. Stir it up, baby. Look for that. Juby. Hi. We're going to check for eggs. We're gonna go check for eggs. Take me there. Okay.
Here, Juby, we got some nice, look at all this goodness. We got some buckwheat in there, we got some living bread, some eggshells. This is Blueberry. She has beautiful blue iridescent feathers. Hi, Blueberry. This is Uznia. Say hi, Uznia. This is Rosa Sharon. We have rhododendron. We have kudzu.
We have Diamond.
We have, is this Diamond?
Yes.
Diamond. Mulberry, big mulberry. These are the real shy ones. These olive eggers. I try to touch them all though. I try to pet them, get them real used to being handled and touched. There's Uznia. Uznia has the craziest comb on her. Oh, I love them. All right, Jude. Take me to the eggs, little girl. Take me to the eggs, little girl. Oh, we got a hen in there.
Yep, we got some eggs, Mom.
Oh, beautiful eggs. These are little flowers. Little aromatherapy for the chickens, I guess. Hilarious.
Here, Mama.
There you go, girl. Oh, look at all the hens in this. Oh my goodness, hello, ladies. Hello.
Here's a really skinny egg that it's cold. Here's a hen.
Oh, here, who's this? Who's this on the nesting
Oh.
box? Sorry, sweetie. We'll give you some space. Let's give her some space. She's probably trying to lay an egg.
They are just so sweet, and They're just thriving up here in the mountains, the Appalachians, and they are just loving life. Like they are and they lay the most beautiful eggs. And like maybe other chicken owners can relate to this, but like, do you like when you own your own chickens and they lay you eggs and then you eat them, are they not the best eggs you've ever had? And like maybe it's because you've been caring for this animal and nurturing them and pouring all this love into tending to them. And then they're like loving you back by giving you the most delicious eggs. But they are so buttery and creamy. I think it's too that maybe when we get eggs from the grocery store, they're just not as fresh as when you have them, when literally your chicken lays it for you and then you go crack it in a pan and you go and eat it. I mean, it's incredible. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
The neck nuzzles. I love you. I love you. Love to burrow.
These goslings.
Don't eat the hide. You can eat my beard. Don't eat the hide. My beard
really
grows back. The hide will not.
They are quite attached.
It will never grow again. This one and I in particular, and this one and Chelsea in particular, they love the buttons too.
They're quite attached. But anyway, we love them. We love the hens. They're amazing. We actually ended up getting already layers because we weren't so sure that we wanted to do the chick life. You know, or the gosling life, or the baby life, because
we already have babies.
Really needy.
We have babies.
We have 1-year-old babies.
Two of them.
2 1-year-old.
And one of them is as big as a 4-year-old. I'm not kidding. My son is as large as my 4-year-old.
We nicknamed him Thunder because
from day 7
he has thunder thighs. He is gigantic.
On the 7th day, he was called after the thunderous.
Good thing you have a...
Oh, I've got a massive pile of terrifyingly hot, wet grass fertilizer. No chemicals.
What you guys doing?
Making a ramp for us.
There you
Making a
go.
little ramp for geese. Oh my gosh, I love the natural wood on there, Nathan.
I had to put some hickory on there because I just love.
Should have just did out all natural wood. You love working with natural
I
wood.
do. I like round wood. Well, I love round. Look at this.
Hi,
This
Abraham.
little hickory is like 25 years old. He's old. He sat in a very shaded forest, and he's like, it's as big as he got. For 25 years. Other hickories that are 25 years old are huge, like this big around. No, maybe this big around. So that makes really dense wood, and I love just dense, stout little logs like that.
I'll follow you. Where are the geese? Where are the geese, babies? Where are the geese? Show me the geese, baby. Oh, he's running now. Show me the geese, baby. Oh, the geese aren't in there. Where are the geese? Where are the geese? Show me. Where are they? Where are they? Show me, Bubba. Okay. Show me the geese. Okay. Look at him go. Good job, buddy. You're really going fast. Yeah, show me the geese. Where are they at, babies? Where are the geese? Oh, don't. Come on, Amy, show me the geese. He's really taking us to the geese. Oh, Amy, come here. Abraham, come here. Come here. Where you going? You go to the geese? You see, he knows. He's like, Mom, the geese are over here.
But we got geese, and then we got baby goslings, and then we got some even adult geese.
Because I don't really love the chick life. It's a lot of work with chickens, and turkey poults are incredibly delicate.
Very
Guinea
fragile.
fowl. We learned that some of these fowl, they because they're so domesticated, they're basically like the genetic rag doll of the expression of what a goose or a chicken or a turkey or even a guinea. A lot of the modern versions that we get are bred very specifically to gain weight from grain in almost all circumstances. Versus, hey. I don't want any of that preening
She's getting
on him. You can feed her. The expression of them is a lot less quick to accommodate the development outside in pasture and grasses and seedlands and avoid predators and be smart and be around people, and they're kind of geared for different things. So we try to raise ones that are like more in line with what our context is, which is we're in a very mountainous environment that's rugged and wild, and we have a lot of bears, bobcats, lions, we have raccoons, we have possums, we have armadillos, which are great for anteaters. Haha. They're good foragers too, but the big ones we are genuinely have to be on guard with are those ones. And so we want birds that are smart. So we got certain varieties, and Chelsea is the flock decider. She and Naomi are just very gifted at finding really cool birds, and she found some great ones.
Yeah, these are Sebastopol goslings. This breed in particular is very docile and very friendly, because have you ever met an angry goose? I'm sure all of you have met a crabby goose at some point at a lakeside or a park. But geese, geese kind of have a bad rap of being like kind of aggressive or loud, and these ones are not very loud, actually.
We can count on our hand in the last 3 weeks how many times we've heard them sound off.
Yeah, they're
one hand.
Yeah, they're not very loud. But they will sound an alarm when there's something to sound an alarm about. Other geese, like the Chinese and the African, can be a little more aggressive in nature, from what I've read. And then they can be really, really loud.
Well, hello. We've been wanting to say hi to you guys. Hello. Oh my goodness. Here, let's go down by the water, Nate. Get him away from the road. Come on. We gotta get him off the road. Okay, come on. Hello. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Nathan, we stopped for the geese. This is crazy. Dad, they're just like everywhere. They're like coming up to us. They're just saying hello. Amazing, they're totally heritage geese. This is amazing. I wish you were here. Welp, we are on the way to get some geese. I'm very excited. It's been a long time coming. A long time bird dream of mine to have my own flock of Sebastopol geese. They're like little ballerinas dancing out there on the meadow, and they're just some of the most beautiful geese I've ever seen. They're heritage geese. I think they have blue eyes, and they have this curly long, they can be white or tan, like feathered body, these long ringlets. They used to use their feathers as quills, riding quills, and for calligraphy and whatnot, because they were just beautiful feathers. And we are a feathery kind of folk around here. What would give you that idea? Mr. Featherman! We love some feathers. So we're excited to embark on our journey of goose raising a flock of geese and goslings. We are very excited.
You can let him out right there, buddy.
Hi, beauty. Hi, big sweetie. Oh, he's like, thank you. I can stand upright. There he goes. Oh, they're so happy. Look at him.
Nathan wants to get a flock of ducks.
I want ducks. I want the ducks. I realize I want birds that eat grass. I don't want birds that eat grain. I really want this.
Yes.
I've been waiting my whole life to meet you. I really have.
They're so sweet.
So lovely.
Look at them in the sun.
I have this beautiful contraption for you. I built this, and I thought of you because I love you. And
I want you to thrive, and I want you to also be able to enjoy these bountiful tanks of water I'm going to put you in. This is temporary. I'll get better. Trust me. Give me time and a mini excavator and all kinds of stuff's going to happen. This morning, they totally used the ladder and climbed on in that way. Look at them.
Oh my gosh, they're adorable.
Now you see why I want the bigger tank? 'Cause
Look
they can fit
how
more of them
happy they are.
in there.
They can actually get water on their back. Get clean,
They can be fully
buddies.
submerged if they want, yeah.
Oh, look it. Kind of like the guineas. Guineas are very loud too.
Almost all the time.
But guineas eat ticks, so guineas.
They will
for the win.
eradicate ticks from your property, at least in the vicinity of where they do their route.
Like how cool
They're
is
like
that?
home basers. They like to just like do rounds, and they generally don't like the coop life exclusively, like turkeys.
Yes.
Turkeys tend not to, the wild turkeys, more heritage turkeys, like the kind I like to capture in the wild with my dog.
Look what we just found. We were driving along here and we saw a mama turkey with baby turkeys. And these are some wild little baby turkeys. We got 3 wild baby turkeys! Yay!
I tell you about that.
That was fun.
I could tell you guys about that, but some of you would be aghast. Aghast. That's because where you live, they're like an endangered species. Where I live, they're coming out of the woods, son.
Everywhere.
We have so much stuff alive in these forests because there's so much diversity, and people stopped ravaging the hillsides a while ago, not long ago, like 60 years ago. But that's given it enough time to just come back to a lot of the vitality because there's a lot of moisture here. The purity of the waters in the Appalachians is just like exquisite.
We love it.
We love it, and with it always comes life. So we follow the water now. We are desert dwellers for a lot of our life, and we just love the places where there's an abundance of water, because it's not about how much rain that falls on your land, it's how much rain you can keep on your land. That's the most important caveat. And this land, a lot of it still has that good sponginess, and it absorbs the water.
Appalachians
And then it gives it out in springs.
Oh, there's springs flowing out of every nook and cranny here. Waterfalls gushing out of the hillsides. It is so beautiful and
Lush.
so lush and so green, and there's so much to forage. There's so much food growing everywhere.
Like real food, people food, stuff like people eat
Like-
and animals eat.
Yes, like okay, like red clover is everywhere right now in the pastures, right? Red clover is everywhere. I love Abraham. He was even foraging red clover the other day, but like I just go out and grab a handful of red clover and dump it in my tea. It is so good, you guys. It's so delicious. Wood sorrel everywhere, wild lettuce, all kinds of things. Like all the wild barks
Mints, all the wild mints.
Oh, yeah,
We love Appalachian
mint.
mint. Is just all over out here right now.
everywhere, and like there's just so much to eat all the time. And then there's berries, you guys. It's berry season, and we've been berry picking. Hallelujah.
My berries.
It's that time of year again.
Service berries.
Service berries, June berries. Ah! You love your berries. You do too. We brought stools this time so you can reach the fridge. Yay.
Not every tree is quite so strong. Some fruit trees, their branches are very tender and they break easily. Other ones are tough and you can pull on them and get some good stretch out of them. Flexibility. Service berry is pretty strong. What is the mulberries? Also pretty strong and liver. Really strong wood actually, mulberry is. Service berries, if you pull hard at the wrong angle, you'll snap a branch. And that's really sad. You don't want to break off the fruitful branch, right? You definitely want to break off the unfruitful branch. You ever hear about that? Into the fire. Be fruitful. Exceedingly.
Here's a good one.
Chelsea's all about that ultimate ripeness zone. That's all about ultimate utility.
Pick one, dude. Show me how you pick them. Yummy.
Ew, that one was really sweet. Eat it. Oh, yeah. So good. Yeah, good job, Amy. Oh, thank you. You eat it. He loves to share. Oh, you got a good handful, buddy. Good job.
It's Juneberry season, and I could not be happier because I have been having dreams of these berries for years. Since we picked them, how long ago, Nathan? 4 years ago? 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Oh my gosh, it's been so long! The Juneberry's so good. It tastes like a blueberry meets a...
Amaretto candy.
Oh, it's my. Blueberry meets an apple is what I used to say. Like apple blueberries. If you like blueberries, add a little apple seed in there. Oh, they're so good.
Have you ever heard of
Never
the
had
serviceberry?
a Juneberry or serviceberry. They're called Juneberries because that's typically when their ripest is in June.
Depending on where elevation-wise
It was a little earlier this year, but...
Because we had an early spring, which was dreamland, but it did not frost, which is a miracle.
Yes.
So we had an abundance. Fruit harvest is going to be great this year.
It was great. And now blueberries are coming online, guys. Blueberries! But anyway, we harvested mulberries and serviceberries a few weeks back, and it was so fun, you guys. Free berries. Like, there is nothing better than free berries.
This is where it started 4 years ago. Mulberries. Look at this. Nobody's even picked these. Nobody. I can tell. Oh, they're so good. I just ate a lot of eggs. You generally don't want to eat a lot of berries on an egg belly. That's a good way for some flatulence. You're going to ferment them berries because the berries want to digest very quickly. Whereas the eggs, they want to take their time and do their good work, their good pleasure. But these mulberries, you guys, if you don't know what mulberries are, this is a tree that you can plant in almost any place in the country and it will do well. They are amazing, they're delicious, and they're abundant. And the more you pick them, the more fruit you get. They need to be picked. Nobody has touched this tree. It's totally disregarded. In a parking lot with tens of thousands of people around it, no one's regarded it. Hallelujah, more for me and my family. But I'm gonna take these seeds and I'm gonna plant them everywhere because this is one that restores the landscape, you guys. It's one of the easiest to grow. It'll grow in soil that is sandy and stuff that's more silty. It'll grow better if you take care of it and you love it and you bless it in the name of Yahuwah, the Creator. And you give it some sea salt, lots of sea salt every year. Good sea salt, it needs it. A little bit of rock dust, stuff like that. You can pee on it every so often, take your pee and pee on it. Pee in a bucket. Give it to your tree. Fill it with a bunch of water. Give it to it. It'll love it. But these are mulberries. Beautiful. They're like blackberry's best friend without thorns. You know what I'm saying? It's a cousin to the Osage orange, the greatest tree ever. The wood the Ark of the Covenant was made out of. I'm telling you, super strong wood, so they're bendable, flexy branches. And you can see it has this beautiful umbrella shape. So it's easy to pick. It's lovely. Get after it.
It's like love. It is. It's like tasting love. It's fresh picked fruit, warm off the tree. You realize now, almost all your life you've eaten cold berries. Oh yeah, don't. This is my moment. You've had many of these. This one's mine.
He's snuggly.
I love this bird. I love these birds. Chelsea's amazed at how
I
much
am
I love.
shocked at how much he loves birds.
The right kind of birds.
I just think more people would really love birds if they were around them. It started actually in the winter when we started feeding all the wild birds. And we were just... Why?
Why were you feeding birds, honey?
Because I love them so much.
And you were so sick.
And I was so sick, you guys. Yes, I was so sick.
She couldn't even physically walk around to do farming stuff and chores. And
I had a horrible rash that broke out on my arms. My forearms were solid rash. I was so sick. We were sick for months. When we left Missouri and we came here, we were
half dead.
We were so sick. The babies were so sick. And then
Jubilee had just survived a near-death encounter.
Oh, yeah.
I had survived a near-death encounter. It was bad.
It was one thing after another. I was just having all of these weird, ailments, skin issues. I've never been a skin issue kind of person. I've never struggled with that. But then all of a sudden, just bam, it just hit me out of the blocks. And anyway, we went to a naturopath trying to, help us detoxify from the mold and seek some answers. And all they wanted to do was put us on some pharmaceuticals, and that was not very helpful.
We were really hopeful that we spent hours and hours and hours doing a bunch of Q&A trying to get some better diagnostic understanding of what was going on with her body. And the type of person that we went to was just not the kind of naturopath that we were hoping for. And some of them are just
more integrative medicine, maybe, like where it's a little bit of both,
or a lot of bit of both,
or a lot of bit of Western medicine, but it's just not.
We just have a love for herbology and a lot of the medicinal plants.
I just
wanted
like food to be our
medicine.
And anyway, I was kind of seeking, and after that, I felt so hopeless. I literally felt so hopeless, and I was like, I feel like I'm just not ever gonna fully beat this mold. I did do the 40 days of cold water therapy, which hugely jump-started it in the right direction for me, healing. And then after that, we were doing 40 days of no sugar because we thought we had
sweetener, anything.
Yeah, no sugar of any kind. We thought we all had candida.
Oh yeah.
Overgrowth in our body. So we tried doing that, and then I broke out in the rash, which now I'm kind of wondering if that was the death throes of candida, which it might have been. It was a horrible rash. But anyway, long story short, the father led me to a website online, and I ended up reading about histamine intolerance, and I started putting pieces together and realizing, like, oh my gosh, this is totally what's going on in my body. My body is having an overreactive hyper response to histamine, and histamine can just even be in your foods. So I went on this really crazy, intense, restrictive diet for 3 months, and lots of good supplementation, lots of liver support supplements, and this diet was all about healing the gut, because that can be a huge source of where your issues are coming from. And I've had gut issues my entire life. Just this morning, just feeling kind of overwhelmed and sad a little bit. It's only been 3 days on the diet, and I've already had like a big intense reaction last night with the itchiness and the rash on my arms, and then I even was feeling like my throat was like my glands were swelling a little bit, and my ear was getting kind of stuffed up, and I was getting a little bit of congestion, just feeling some fatigue. So I definitely felt some bloating and some gas too from the meal last night, so I took some enzymes. Definitely just a little discouraged today and sad, because I thought, eliminating food from your diet and taking supplements sounded like a somewhat easy course to healing, and that was really brutal last night and kind of scary. So I'm just a little set back this morning. I'm thinking it was eggs after looking at everything said and done. So I'm gonna have to cut out eggs today, because I had a lot of eggs yesterday. Had a couple scrambled eggs and sweet potatoes for breakfast. Had another couple a couple boiled eggs with some cabbage for lunch, and then I had a couple eggs in the bread that I made yesterday. So I definitely think I had a lot of eggs yesterday, and it could have been eggs. So we'll just see how I do today, not having eggs, and see if my rash gets any better. I've been battling this rash, since before we left Missouri. So I've been battling this rash for what feels like probably a month and a half now. It's just been awful. It was only on the one arm, then it got real severe on the one arm, then it started to heal, then it switched to the other arm, then we got here, and then it got flared up, and then it started to heal again, and then the other arm flared up, and then I finally was almost like to the point where I thought my rash was healing the other day, and I felt really good about it. I've been using aloe vera on it because I read a study that said aloe vera was equally effective as hydrocortisone cream on, inflamed skin. So I thought that I just bought a beautiful aloe vera plant. I'll show you a video or a picture of it. It's so beautiful. And I've been using the aloe vera to try to help my rash, and it's been helping a lot. I never would have thought, who buys an aloe vera plant in the winter? Well, I do, because I like plants, and I love gardening even if it's winter, I guess. And I can, so I can have houseplants now. When I lived in the motorhome, it was definitely really hard to have houseplants when we were on the road. It was just sad trying to have houseplants. I had cacti for a while. I had some different plants. I did have an aloe vera plant, which I loved, and then it frosted over in the windshield because that's where I kept it, and it just got too cold one night for it, and it died. And so, and then I think the other one, it got too much water up on its like limbs and it kind of rotted. Oh, so sad. But anyway, the plant life in the RV was not an easy one. So mad props to all of you out there that live tiny and you still manage to have houseplants. It's incredible. And if you live tiny and mobile, because rolling around is why it's hard to have houseplants, because if you're picking up and moving constantly, where do you put your plants when you travel? You know, people say, oh, put them in the sink, put them in the shower. At one point I had a moringa tree and her name was Olga, and or Inga. Was her name Inga? I don't know. My friend Jen had one that was, I can't remember if mine was Inga or Olga. We had Olga and Inga, and they were our twin moringa plants, moringa trees that we took on the road. Hilarious. We kept them for a long time. I forget what happened to them now, but anyway, plants on the road is hard. But I got this beautiful aloe vera plant, and it's been totally helping me with my rash, so praise y'all for that little guy. I'm so thankful for that, and I'm trying to pull myself out of the negativity ditch that I'm in this morning, or the fearful ditch that I'm in. I was definitely a little scared last night that I was having a severe allergic reaction. I actually ended up taking a little bit of Benadryl because I was pretty nervous, and then I did end up following it with activated charcoal and then putting more aloe vera on my arms, and everything did kind of settle down. I think it was more anxiety personally, because when you're anxious you just start to overanalyze every little symptom, every little thing you're feeling, and I think that's what was happening. But I'm doing better today, and I'm gonna cut out eggs and see if that helps. But I know this is part of the road to healing, and the road to healing is never an easy one, and it's never a quick one. But I'm just thankful that I've found something that I feel like is exactly what I'm experiencing. Like, I straight up had an allergic reaction after eating food last night, and I do not have food allergies. I have never had food allergies my entire life. But this is what happens when you have a histamine intolerance. You are basically reacting with histamine-like symptoms, allergic type symptoms, but it's your body, because of the mold toxicity, has, through the mast cell activation, produced more histamine in your body that's not able to get broken down, and you're struggling, so that's why we're cutting out the histamine foods and trying to get those histamine levels down, trying to heal and support the liver, and hopefully be able to completely reset my body and then start integrating foods back in. I'm not doing gluten right now. That they always recommend going off gluten because it's an inflammatory food, so I'm going off all inflammatory foods and then doing low histamine foods, and it's a very, very specific diet, but kind of similar to paleo, but I think it's going to be great. I already had, besides yesterday evening, I've been feeling wonderful on this diet. Something else we've been doing too to aid in digestion is to not drink water while we're eating food. You can have a tiny little sip of water, but not like chugging gallons of water while you're eating. And it's been really a huge blessing. And I've definitely been feeling the benefits of that. And then, taking more of my water intake in between meals, like, a couple hours after meals, then I can drink a bunch of water, I can have teas, I can have broths and all that sort of thing. And then, before, about an hour before a meal, you don't want to be chugging a bunch of water. So you kind of cut off the fluids, and then it just allows your digestive juices to be able to be fully concentrated, to be able to digest your meal, as opposed to being super diluted by you drinking tons of water with your meal. So these are just little things we're learning and trying to implement, and definitely noticing a huge difference in my overall digestion. And I feel like absorption, like my body feels like it's actually, and maybe it's because of the types of foods I'm feeding it right now, which is a lot of meats and a lot of vegetables, but I feel like my body is just soaking it up like a sponge and just immediately using it. And then by the time the next meal rolls around, I am hungry. And I feel like my body is just like, yes, give me more of this. This is what we've been needing. So I need to thanks for letting me talk to you this morning. I needed to pull myself out of the Debbie Downer ditch that I was in. It's gonna be okay. And we're gonna keep persevering through this. And so anyway, it was about healing the gut, supporting the liver, and then just helping your body to literally reset through a diet, a very strict diet, and then being able to integrate foods back in. And so little by little, I've been able to eat things again and gain weight again. And anyway, it's really changed my life. And I'm just so grateful to the Father for healing me and helping to continue to heal me through different natural means, natural foods and supplements. And I don't know, I was even doing like a red light therapy to help, and Epsom salt baths and castor oil packs on my liver, and just different things. But it's been really good. So that's what I've been doing.
What was the book?
What have you been doing?
What was the book that you utilized?
Oh yeah,
people are gonna ask.
Yeah, it's Dr. Becky Campbell, and it's called like what is it? I don't even know the name of the book. It's a reset. It's a reset diet though. Super effective, and actually it just taught me a lot of things about like food that I didn't even realize were maybe a problem. And now that we're reading the Torah, even like I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like she's really big on not having leftovers, and we loved leftovers.
The king of the leftovers.
Oh
Read the last chapter of my book. It's called The Hunger.
Yeah, Nathan was
eat it like all I ate.
He was always like, make a ton and then we'll have leftovers, you know? And you know, I don't even want to say that like leftovers are bad, because she said if you do have leftovers, you need to freeze them immediately.
If possible.
Like literally freeze them immediately if you can. Because if they sit overnight in the fridge and then they continue to sit a few more days in the fridge, they're basically, especially if it's meat, it's kind of, I mean, if you think about it, anything that sits, right, it ferments and it ages, and anyway, it increases the histamine levels in the food, and it can just be less beneficial for you.
She's gonna poop on you, I think.
Less beneficial, aim her this way. Less beneficial for you if you're struggling with a histamine intolerance like I was.
Called it.
Oh!
You hear that sound?
Oh my gosh.
I called it. Gosh. It's like a cannon. Oh my. It literally looks like the spread of a shotgun. It's gone off. Look at that. That's a little bit. I just saved your linen.
That is disgusting.
I just saved your linen and a trip to the laundromat. Booyah.
Tried a Goslings for girls.
Goslings for girls. We went from a gander to a couple of others. It's been a wild journey of trying to like learn what's the best potential way to express the natural state of that animal. You know, like there could be more chicken to a chicken than just in a cage. Like if you give a bunny, like Naomi and Jubilee, Naomi has a bunny. What's your bunny's name, Naomi?
Pearl. Rose.
Pearl. You want to tell them about Pearl? What is Pearl? What kind of bunny? I know, but tell them about
Angora.
it. Tell them. They probably never heard of it in their life.
What kind of rabbit do you have?
An Angora.
Angora rabbit. Why are we raising them?
So that we can spin their wool.
So we can spin their wool, guys. We got Angora rabbits. And what do you think about Pearl? Is she nice?
She's like the sweetest rabbit.
She's the sweetest rabbit. She's even sweeter than your last rabbit named Pearl. This is Pearl number 2. No, this is Pearl Rose, right? That's her name.
Rose, yeah.
Pearl number 2, Pearl Rose. And yeah, what color is she?
She's white.
She's white. What's your favorite thing about rabbits?
Just they're cute, and I just love rabbits.
They're just soft and sweet and
fluffy and cute.
Yeah.
And when they poop on you, it's not so liquidy.
Yeah.
It's really like dry kibble.
Yeah.
Just like a dry pebble.
And what do we do with the poop?
Put it in the garden.
Put it in the garden.
You can use it as one of the. It is that and alpaca poop are the single most kind of ideal non-digested poop you can use as a fertilizer, meaning you don't have to break it down or compost it as much.
It
you
can go directly in the garden.
Whereas I can take that chicken poop, that, you know, chickens pee and poop in the same pellet. They don't urinate. So it's real high in nitrogen. Like your urine is very high in nitrogen. If you just pee on a plant, a bush or an apple tree, whatever, if you just pee on that thing, which would be great, you got to water it in too, because if you don't dilute it some, it's a bit too much nitrogen and the plant's like, I'm burning alive here. Trust me, I've peed on so many things in my life. And best thing to do is do a little dilution. So number one solution to pollution is dilution. So same solution here. You just pee into a bottle, big bottle, and then just fill it with water, and then pour it on your favorite plants and watch them be like, thank you so much for your urea. It didn't come from a bag, it came from a body, and that's delicious.
Naomi, when the twins were born, we were staying at this Airbnb, and Naomi, so the babies...
Van Buren, Missouri. One of the best areas of all of
beautiful.
Missouri we ever were was that stretch of it. Not the Springfield side as much, was rougher and a whole lot more colty, but the other side, man, we really enjoyed a little more.
Van Buren was beautiful.
South and east.
It was beautiful, and the rivers, like fly fishing.
The Current River was epic.
The Current River, yes, don't change. And so anyway, it was beautiful, and I was gonna say so the babies would be sleeping, so they wouldn't always come inside to go to the bathroom. They would kind of go out in the forest. And Naomi she did this experiment, and she was peeing on this one little dandelion. It was a little dandelion, right? And she was peeing on the same dandelion every day, and this thing was gigantic. And she's like, Mom, you have to come see this. You have to come see this dandelion. I pee on it every single day. Look at how it's thriving. It was. I'm not kidding. It was a great experiment. What have you been up to?
Because here's the thing. We were in these city environments, and I had a little studio space, which is something I just got to say I long for deep in the soul. A private door with a private room that's a space I can be in. That's not filled with the wonderful cacophony of meow, meow, meow. Oh.
Nowhere near loud enough to get you to understand what it really sounds like in person.
And when we haven't had service for a long time, like we've
month.
had all this stuff inside and all this stuff going on that we wanted to share with you guys, but like we just haven't had service or an outlet to share it. And so then every time we sit down to do a video, Nathan and I are all over the place, and it's because we've had so much going on.
And we haven't got you up on it.
He's been putting in a whole permaculture orchard.
Not just here.
2 of
elsewhere.
them. Yes.
And I started to do another one elsewhere.
Yeah. And
Crazy.
He's been planting. And
I put in, listen, like food forest islands, guys, like 160
Don't do that.
food forest islands.
I'm at Herb Festival, and I'm losing my mind right now. It's a bounty of delicious edible plants from nurseries of people that actually grow stuff that humans can eat. Go figure. Instead of landscaping, we're edible spacing. This is the fringe tree. I first read about this in a book on trees 4 years ago, and I've looked all over. I've never found it, but look at this. It's sensational. You got rosemary. Look at this thing. It just wants to be living forever. We even have Osage orange. This is your hedge tree. Remember I was talking to you guys about trees that you can plant for living hedges? This is it. You see how he starts out thorny. He's like, don't you all eat me. No, sir. But this is the one that you can cup it and color it, fold down and make your little fencing. That looks so exciting. But we've got American hazelnut. We've got chestnuts. We've got figs, Turkish figs. We have witch hazel. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We're going to buy them out. Just all the time.
Abraham's
Drop his head down.
having such a good time. He's
gassed.
sleeping.
We need rain, which is fantastic. I just put a bunch of trees in the ground. We got all these little plant starters. These ones are the ones I was most excited about. This is honeyberry. Honeyberry. You see this hasp cap? Comes from the boreal forest. Way up north, y'all. You betcha. Look at this beautiful little guy. Now, I can propagate him with these guys up here, which I'm stoked about. They put out berries that are kind of bell-shaped. I've never tasted them. However, this is the buddy that I'm going to put in to my food forest that I'm so pumped to get. Our very first apple peel. We are getting all of these mulched in today. Now this is just fresh wood chips. This is not exactly alive too much, right? This is more just being used to hold down the cardboard while we get all of our other plants in the ground, whether it's buckthorn, berries, blackberries, but Pastures getting grown up. So we're bringing out our little trees and shrubs. This Arkansas apple, this guy's beautiful. But we got strawberries, we got our blueberries, we got comfrey, more strawberries, another blackberry, and more strawberries. A little bit of, what do you got over there? Self-heal medicinals. So we've got just quite a different variety at each of our spots out here. It has been a long day, but we've got probably 65 trees that are at least got their first round of cardboard on and mulch, and about a third of the plants for those trees have gone in with them. But I found today, I went to a local farmer's market. I go there to network, and I've met a mushroom guy. Yes, I love mushroom people. And he is going to help me get some fantastic mushroom compost, which is a way you can kind of jumpstart this to get this thing rocking and rolling way more so. So not just for where we put the plants into the ground, we're giving them all compost as they go in, but this one's gonna be alive and active, not coming out of a bag, which makes a big difference. And it's gonna be fresh off of the fields. And he's using living spring water to grow mushrooms, and he's all in-house. It's amazing. So we're gonna utilize that and try to network with as many of the local farmers. I'm trying to make connections up here as much as I can. It's one of the best things that you do is you just start to plug in, and those are the places I go to find the right people. But then I exchanged with him today. I got rock dust. Finally. I've been trying to get rock dust, you guys. Let's just go over it real quick. Our soils are incredibly minerally deficient, like the innermost portion of your bowels, which are deficient on the entire scriptures. It's okay. We can get a jump start, but we're not going to do it with readily made conventional fertilizers, right? Because it's like giving them the IV drip. I want to teach these plants that they got to work hard to get the goods, that they're not just going to get the easy stuff. It's like giving a person formula their whole life. It's like, no, the Father has this incredible maturation. The maturing of life is designed into the system. And you know what? If we imitate that, it gets better. So we can start them with a little bit of milk, but you know what? We got to give them the meat of the word. You know what I'm saying? Like the entirety of the scriptures instead of just the book of Matthew. There's a whole lot more to the Bible than the New Testament, you guys. And you're very deficient in your understanding, your reasoning, and your wisdom if you're totally intellectually befuddled about what the history of your convictions and your beliefs really are founded upon. So, rock dust. Here's what I do. I hit up all the local quarries and I just start basically finding out whether or not they will give me a product that I'm trying to get. I don't say it in those same words. I use a lot of like really, I just reason with them as best as I can. I try to find out what is their excess waste product that they don't have any needs for. And at rock quarries, they make the majority of their money selling gravel, like gravel size stuff for road fill and people that are putting in gravel roads. That's the majority of their business a lot of times. But then as you get smaller in particle size, as it gets screened out, the next most common sold product that they have a lot of times is stuff for concrete mixing. Sand is a major ingredient in a lot of concrete. So they mix in a lot of sand, and then they have a product that's even finer than that, which is called their fines or crusher fines or rock dust. And that's what I'm after, because what I'm trying to do is, if I understand, you can do a soil analysis test, and I'm not just talking about nitrogen and potassium and calcium or any of these. I'm not talking about NPK stuff. I'm talking about the entire spectrum of microminerals that are essential for plants to thrive in. All of our soils are deficient in various different levels of it. And so even without a basic understanding of any of this, you guys, rock dust is indigestible to plants. They can't eat it. However, all of those microbes, the stuff that lives under the surface of the soil, which is where all of that biological system takes place, all of that energetic transfer takes place underneath the soil, where these plants work together with things living underground to get each other what each other needs. That's the fundamental basis for how all food grows out of the ground. We feed the microbes, the rock dust. They will digest it and give it to the plants. And this is years, multi-year long ways of fertilizing our fields for free. Like I literally, all this quarry, they called it pond fines. So this is at the very end of their line. They have like ponds where they're like washing off the last of it. And it's just this solids that are left at the end of the line. They don't have any use for it, and nobody really wants it. And so he told me I can get as much of it as I want for free. And it's a granite quarry, which is awesome. There's some better, well, for different reasons. There's different rocks that have different mineral compositions. It's helpful to know what's in their rock. so you know how much of it to apply to your fields in beneficial quantities. But general rule of thumb a lot of times is 2 to 10 tons per acre. That's the application. But there's certain minerals that you can only have a maximum application rate of. So there's a video down below if you guys actually want to listen to a guy break down so much more of this from the Bionutrient Food Association. His name is Dan Kittredge. Anyways, he does a great breakdown of this and explains how to find out your maximum application rate, how to find out what you're deficient in, how to find out what types of mineral products you can use. Anyways, big long story. I love it, and I could spend days talking about it, and I would, but I know some of you guys are like, whatever. That's okay, I love you too. But we spread that out onto our field, and over time, whenever it rains, eventually it'll rain. Once that gets down into the soil, the microbes and stuff start to break it down, and they're able to feed that to our plants and help to revitalize, remineralize our plants, so I stop having to buy supplements the rest of my life, and I can just eat the supplementation from my fields. That's the goal. Anyways, it's generally free as long as you can get there and you can get it hauled away. Like today, I had a dump trailer, which was an adventure, and I got 6.5 tons of this stuff for free, which is amazing. Now I've got a big giant mountain of rock dust, and I'm spreading it all over the field. So ideally you can put that in and on your fields before you do your planting, but you can put it down any sinking time. The best rule of thumb is get it in the ground, just like with trees. When are you supposed to plant trees? Yesterday, 10 years ago. Today is a great day, so get it done. So that's what we're doing now. This stuff isn't screened super well, so there's some bigger rock size stuff in it, but it's free. Now I can pay, I think, $28 a ton for the next particle size up, which has been screened. That might be well worth it just because of some of the, issues, So anyways, I just want to show you guys there's a way to scrapping and getting this stuff. I made phone calls persistently for the last few weeks trying to find somebody that would get me sawdust, get me mulch. And I found places that'll give me sawdust, which is a beneficial thing that I can add in here because the particle size is going to be smaller. They'll break down faster. And I'm not just hitting any of these things. I'm trying to show you guys how to do this for as least amount of financial exchange as possible. But I'm trying to, at the same time, build a non-material asset, which is relationships. I'm trying to be rich in skills and relationships. Like today, I learned how to maneuver and manage a hydraulic dump truck, which I've never done before, which was fantastic. And a great new adventure has begun. But get better at it every day. I'm learning to meet different people who need jobs like day laborers. I'm picking up day laborers and getting them to work for me, which is fantastic. It's a wonderful thing to do, and I am grateful for it. So that's what's going on out here today. I'm really excited. We're getting lots of stuff done.
Most people do like 3 to 5. That's a significant amount of work. To fully put one in, okay, like the process is getting your area selected. First of all, it's just whole lots of stuff. But my context, I live in a place where we get tons of rain, so I don't have to irrigate as much. I have to initially water in plants that I plant. But I put it in, I lay down on the grass. I have rock dust, which is just ground up granite dust that I sprinkle onto my fields, then sea salt, okay? And then I lay down cardboard as a big weed mat in my pasture, especially where I have grass. Grass roots grow at 4 times the speed at which a tree roots will grow, or often a perennial will grow. So they're very aggressive, and they can take over and weaken the initial phases of plant development in whatever it is you're trying to plant in a garden space. Grass is very vigorous.
It is.
We call them weeds. A weed is just something that grows outside of an area where we intend it. Like we can have buckwheat as a weed in a field where we're trying to selectively only grow cereal rye, or we're only trying to grow fescue or alfalfa. Anything can be a weed in its context. So the weed barrier of the cardboard is something I can get as a waste material that's excessively free as long as I dive into dumpsters and make good relationships with my friends and neighbors and people at the dumps so that I can get that material in abundance.
Well, hello. I'm deep inside the bowels of this dumpster.
I want to get in there.
This is what men are willing to do when they want to grow food for their families. They go dumpster diving. Now, sometimes you can look for food in here, but a lot of times there's a better resource. Stand fast, child. There's a better resource in here that I'm using for my garden, which is cardboard. Yes. I need a lot of it because we chose not to tarp down the grass to kill it off and kill the lawn before we go ahead and plant into that space. We're going to cardboard it. You betcha. And then we're going to put a prodigious amount of mulch on top of this. Crazy amounts of mulch. And this is going to give us an incredible advantage. So, what I'm going to do is, we came here on an off day. Haha. Praise Yah for pagan holidays and an opportunity to go somewhere when people aren't looking. Yoo! Now, so, we're here. We're going to load up a bunch of this cardboard. We're going to get all of it. I'm just going to get every bit of it I can possibly find right now. And we're going to unload this stuff
haul it into our van and get the heck out of here. So you be cool about dumpster life. If you get caught in here, it's like, whatever. That's why I bring the children. They're good camouflage. Anyways, live dangerously. Collect cardboard. I lay that down, and then I lay a layer of compost down, and then I lay in all my wood chips and my mulch, which are two different things. Wood chips are just chewed up wood, like a whole log, just shoved through a chipper. Chunks of chips, big chunks like this. Those take a long time to break down. It helps to build a better layer of active soil life if you can have composted mulch. That's a big deal. So much of my time has been spent sourcing free or as cheap as I can mulch. Because to me, I know anywhere I go, the most important resource that I want on hand is carbon. And carbon is a trapped resource that's growing all the time from photosynthesis. The greatest lesson you can ever learn in life is all about photosynthesis, because every single thing you eat or anybody eats is a product of photosynthesis. C6H12O6, right? This is the conversion of sunlight and water, carbon. My life is filled with micro frustrations. I'm aging rapidly.
Mom, I can't.
I'm trying.
Like, I actually have a family of 6 now. The twins were just twins and terrifyingly things to raise. They were excruciating when they were babies. But then it got a lot easier between like 6 and 9 months, because they were just kind of scooting. You know, like you can corral a scooter.
Abraham is on the
But Abraham can almost run.
He's so cute.
And he loves to explore. He's a great adventurous guy.
And we have Pearl, what do you say she looks like when she's
Let me
scooting?
describe this to you for a second. Okay, now take a moment. Imagine the great, massive walrus on the side of a beach in the far lands of the north with tusks of ivory, beautiful ivory I want to pluck. Beautiful ivory, rolls upon rolls upon rolls of insulative fat so that it can dive down 265 feet into the depths of the cold Bering Strait of the sea and harvest clams with abundant glee. That gigantic 2,000-pound monstrosity, it lands on the shore and thunders itself forward in epic slow motion. Every time I see that child come near unto me, this is what I see coming towards me.
The
magnificent Pearl. Great Pearl.
Pearl of the sea.
She has breached the surface of the water. She draws near to the land, but she reaches a high zone and then suddenly rolls and falls backwards and smacks herself on the ground. So not only do we have 2 incredibly robust, very difficult to manage
Babies.
toddlers right now, we also have a very injured oldest child. And any of you who have older children, you know that's devastating.
Well, I was on top of a freezer, and I was we were like gonna organize the deck, and I jumped down because I was trying to get chairs off top of the freezer, and I jumped down and fell on like one of these tea steepers.
Bring it over.
One of these things.
We drink a lot of tea.
And it was upside down like this, and there was tea inside it. I jumped down and fell and sliced my heel open.
This
Yep.
popped out. See how it's 2 pieces? The middle punched out, and this left a razor sharp
blade
circle that basically cookie cuttered her heel. And it filleted open, and it was
deep.
One of the worst
Like
cuts I've ever seen on any of my family members. Nathan's had some doozies, but
She stitched me up on the kitchen table.
Naomi's was really, really bad. And praise Yah, we had a wonderful friend who was able to stitch her up and clean it out really good. And so she has been non-weight bearing or very minimal weight bearing on that foot. So she's been on crutches and for at least 3 weeks.
Through the 4th week.
And she's been, she's still kind of stepping on her toes because it still hurts, honey.
No, it doesn't really hurt if I have
Sometimes.
shoes on.
Yeah.
But if I don't have shoes on, it kind of hurts.
Look, Mommy has
But
white feathers.
it's been yes, but it's been healing amazing. So praise Yah for that. And we're just so grateful that she's feeling better and that that it was able to be repaired.
One of our friends has had many burns in their family, and they just, hey, let me drop a pearl on you. Some of you need to know this. Her daughter, she had a horrific burn, hot fluid burn on her face, on her eye, like eyelid, blistering, like bubbling.
Very
bad,
sensitive area.
horrific burn. she took some of her fresh eggs and took the egg white. So you strain out the yolk and put the white on. And then anytime it starts to kind of dry off, put more on and more on and more on. And she said she watched her skin just bubbling and blistering all over, but she kept that egg white on there for how long?
She just said every time it would dry, she just put another coat of egg white on there and another coat of egg white on there and another coat of egg white on there and just kept doing it. I don't know how long she did it for, but she said eventually she said that it was feeling better, and so maybe they kind of slowed down on it, but it healed beautifully with no scarring.
Pink skin, no scarring,
Yeah.
like no big boils and blisters.
Which is amazing.
A miracle.
Because, yeah, it's a total
That's a
miracle.
great medicine. That's a medicine.
And that's something that a lot of people have on hand is an egg. Right? Even if it's from the grocery store, an egg.
This is because we're trying to imitate what happens naturally with animals on grasses in prairies. This is how animals actually function, which is a symbiotic relationship between the animals, the plants, and the predators. It seems like that's not how you would think of it, but wolves play a very essential role. Predators play an essential role in moving animals with pressure to somewhere else. If you leave animals on the same piece of ground for too long, they will destroy it. They will turn it into a desert. And this is the vast majority of homesteads are horribly overused, overgrazed, exhausted. They are one of the worst properties generally. When you want to buy a property, people that have homesteaded with animals, because of their ignorance and because of a lack of understanding of context, it may have worked for somebody they saw or learned about online in their context, and then they try to replicate it where they live. Like, we tried to take a lot of these things that I've learned and studied, all these mentors that I've had throughout the years and lessons I've learned, and I tried to take that to Central Texas, and it was so much less effective because the water didn't come. Like, it did not rain from basically September into February. It had little spits of snow and jelly ice that just destroyed everything, but it wasn't like dew. It was like, people out there finally told me, they're like, listen, they're like, out here, it could be a little bit of East Texas or it could be a little bit of West Texas. It just depends on the year. And I'm like, what does that mean? They're like, that means it might not rain for 3 years. And I was like, what?
Crazy.
3 years? He's like, it happens. And I was like, well, what's West Texas? He's like, it might rain every day for 3 months. And I was like, wow, well, that's not a bad problem to have if you can keep the water on your land, right? But when you're trying to raise pasture-raised poultry, turkeys, and sheep, it's a terrible recipe if your pastures aren't getting managed properly. And so much of like my study and my approach has been trying to learn what's the solution in every context for every farm to be able to maximize the amount of rainfall by having the most amount of living roots in the soil and living plants in the soil at any given time. So like, instead of just mowing down my yard or grass or my pasture short because it's getting tall and awkward to walk in, I want it to grow up tall. I want it to grow up to this height where, especially in areas where it's a bit more degraded, I'm on a slope. Everything's hilly out here. Like, that's part of the Appalachians context. It's very different than you flatlanders have. You know, like, because of that, I have difficulties with a long chicken tractor that's huge and on big frame. I'm going to have gaps in that, or there's divots and animals could get in. So it makes my life a lot more difficult in different ways. But I have so much water that it can wash away a hillside. If I go in and clear cut a forest and then rip everything up, we should use mine.
Look, there's rabbits.
These are the giant oh my gosh, they're so big.
The giant fluff
They were
ball.
The
much
white one's
smaller.
mine. The gray one's Moss. Are you gonna hold yours?
Sure.
That was heavy.
That was heavy.
Yeah, I had to drag a heavy tote with water in it.
This is Ivy.
And toys.
I had to give her a little bang trim so that she could see.
My bunny too. I need to trim
Because
her.
she literally could not see. We could not see her eyes. She was so fluffy.
Daisy.
Look at that. How old are they, Nate? I think they're four months old? 4 months old. They're little.
This is Daisy.
Look, Daisy.
But,
Splash meringue.
I love them. We think mine might be a boy. I might be able to check.
But
Daisy.
what Nathan's saying, you know, the biggest thing for us has been
That's $10.
just what I love. Like I my whole life like have not I've seen different people manage animals, and people manage animals in all kinds of different ways. But I believe that, you know, like, we should care for the life of our beasts, care for the life of our animals, right? Take good care of them.
That's right, we're commanded to.
Yeah, we are commanded to. And I want to take good care of them and ensure that they, not that they just have food and water and shelter, okay? Because yes, those are the basic needs that they have. However, like, if they're trapped in one spot and they're living in their own feces, that can be a problem. That's how you get parasites. That's how you get respiratory illnesses and different things.
That's why goats die super fast. Most people's goats die and they're sick all the time because they're way too much on the same space. And every time it rains, a goat wants to run away and hide in the same space, a sheltered space. So then they're pinned. It becomes a massive parasite-laden festival of death. For them, most of you, if you're having issues with parasites, it's because you're not moving your animals off onto new grass enough. But that requires more management, and most people are time poor. Well, when you're doing homesteading stuff, you're generally both. You're money poor and time poor. But you need to, this is why I said I'm reluctant to do animals, because in order to do them right, it requires a massive amount of intensive management. That's my approach. Okay, I know everyone's got different approaches, but this is because I'm seeking to steward the soil. That's, to me, the most important thing. The stuff that's above the surface is very, very after the fact fruit of the soil health. Everything, it's not just dirt under your feet, guys. Everywhere you're standing, no matter where you are, there is soil underneath you eventually. Okay? There is, at the baseline of all life is soil, and that's what Yahweh made us from. The reason her gut health was so bad is because the soil health was so bad that the food she was eating was so augmented away from rich, living, biologically available food. So when she would eat, which was predominantly a diet of ultra-high processed foods and foods from restaurants and stores,
or if it was apples and carrots from the grocery store, they were baby carrots, or they were conventional, like
and it's not, and I'm not just saying that because exclusively, yeah, but and this is a lot of like what I've studied and researched and learned over the years about soil health is the preeminent key. It's most important about understanding what makes a plant healthy when you eat it is how much nutrients, that biologically available nutrients are in that. Well, that's directly correlated to how alive and active the soil health is. And so we're trying to be good stewards of the soil. And these animals, their predominant function, like a chicken, one of their best abilities is to make compost. They can convert food scraps, kitchen scraps, yard scraps, waste, mulch, and they can charge it with nitrogen from their poop. They can, with all kinds of other stuff, but they can also dig. Chickens are diggers. They love to churn stuff. So that's where, like, the chicken tractor on steroids, like put out by Billy Bond at Perma Pastures Farm. Man, if you guys are not harvesting the power of the chicken, look at that, because it's what helps to feed the soil health of all your area of the rest of your land. So, like, that's something we're working on now. Anyways, but I've been able to do so much because she is managing an incredible amount of things in our house again, because she's gotten healthier. Yes, like, I have been doing so much of the house care, health care side of life for a long time, because she was so unwell and she needed so much backup, you know, but like I have been so unwell for some years of our marriage at times, and she had to help nurture me and the home. And so it's like, it's been a great opportunity to get back to her in that way. But I am so eager to step back out of that role. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't enjoy it at all. I do it because it's good for a man to help you. Yeah. It's good for a husband to help his wife. And I love it. And I've got to see you come back to life. But guys, I really thought Chelsea was not going to make it through significantly at different times in this last 18 months.
I thought I wasn't going to live through the birth,
death,
to be honest.
I have rebuked death off my every child, every person in my family.
I felt like I was going to die.
It was pretty reasonable that you would die.
Yeah.
But Yahweh had mercy on you and spared your life.
Yahweh was merciful, and he delivered me and the babies. And
again, though, even just a few months ago, I thought
still is delivering me daily and being merciful and healing us and just allowing us to be able to experience these wonderful birds and this property and being able to just do some of the things we wanted to do forever. Like, Nathan's gonna start trying to do some beekeeping. We've been doing permaculture. We're raising the birds. We're rotating them. We're trying to be good stewards of the land and put into practice some of these things that Nathan's been studying for years and years, and that we've seen different models played out on these different farms. We've seen things that have been excellent, and we've seen things that, you know, could have been a lot better, and could be improved, you know. And honestly, when you improve when you improve the quality of the life of your animal, they thrive and they give back. Like, I think that's why the chicken eggs taste so good, is because the hens are living like their prime life. Like, outside of just being a wild chicken and running wherever they want to go, we're kind of telling them where we want them to go and giving them areas of freedom where they can graze and stuff, but they're very happy and they're very healthy, and they're giving us that nutrition and that vitality back through the food that we're ingesting. And so it's just a really good symbiotic relationship. And I don't know, I think the rotational grazing, the rotation of the animals is so important. I know we keep talking about that, but it's just so important, and it's just such a component that I think farming in general and homesteaders in general, just, you know, because of confines of space, they and don't do it. Time and
ability of infrastructure.
And I will say this, the chores every day, for us to be actively moving our animals, it takes a lot more time.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier to just open the door, feed them, pull eggs out, and put it down.
Yeah, it'd be easy to just leave them in one spot. They have their chicken yard. Just make sure you get feed and water and gather the eggs, and that's all you do. But it could be excellent, and it could be so much better, and it could be better for the chicken, better for you, because they're giving you that nutrients back in that egg, or in that meat, or in that bone broth that you're making, and that is that vitality. And then in turn, they're blessing the earth, they're blessing the soil, they're helping it to provide them more food in the future, and you more food in the future. And it's just, I feel like it's that, you know, we love the back to Eden model because of that too. It's just going back to Eden, going back to as close as how the Creator would want us to take care of and you know, take care of and manage these different things, from the soil to the gardens to the raising of the food to the raising of the animals. It's just being able to do things the way that the Father kind of designed or intended them to be, and try to get it as close to that as possible, you know. And I think there's a lot of variety that you can have with that, you know. Even the chicken tractors, some people might be like, well, they're confined to a tiny little tractor their whole life, and, you know, how's that a good life for a bird? They're still in a cage or whatever. But it's like, no, they're still in ample space, and you're moving them. And so they're actually still getting a very good quality of life, you know, even if they're just going to be meat in the end, you know, and they're only going to be raised for X amount of time. They're still getting more of a quality life than living in a chicken barn and never getting to touch pasture their entire life. Which is fresh air or whatever.
And you can raise animals that way. It's not that you can't. It's not that it's necessarily evil to raise animals that way, because the animal's neutral. The animal's completely ambivalent to compare and contrast its life to another animal's life. Like, animals live in the present. They're really different than us in that regard. Like, Yahuwah imparted unto us an image of Him that is unique to us, and that is not like kinds to any animal. This is why we're not a species of animal. We are an individually, uniquely created expression of the Almighty. And this gives us a way of understanding and insights to looking at animals and interacting with them, that sometimes we humanize them. Sometimes we see the animals as if we see them the way they see us. And it's not like that. A chicken will only know the chicken life that you give it. So if you guys are raising them in regular chicken coops on a stationary place, that's all it's ever going to know. It's not necessarily that it can't be unhappy. But we are trying, like, my wife and I are these, like, cultivators of excellence. We want the absolute best potential expression of everything we touch in our life and the things around us. Like, we want to see what vibrancy and vitality could be expressed if that tree was given everything it could to thrive. Like, we love these service berries. It changed us forever when we went into Asheville, Western North Carolina, and saw edible landscaping as part of the architecture that was put into design in that city.
This is the goal. Just ornamental landscaping that's beautiful and delicious and nutritious. Come on. Plant these.
There was a bank, I think it was called ANC Bank. It's gone now, and it was like a thrift store in this random road on the side of the road, and they had all these service berries and red buds, and that's a good combo because one helps to feed the other. And they were just, it was so delicious to get to eat these things. Now, a lot of them have not been pruned for people, so it's not as good for harvesting rapidly. Everything's tall.
You need to bring your step stool.
Well, it's a bit rainy for berry picking, but you know what? Rain on, baby. We love the rain. It brings berries. Come on. We're gonna, these ones are super ripe. They're like all ready to go. So they're falling down. You can see, if you look over here, they're just raining down service berries everywhere, which is a near tragedy. Disregarded like the Torah. Anyways, let's go ahead and lay down. I don't have a big harvesting cloth like I wanted to, or a tarp, but I have this wool blanket from the bin. Fair bit of berries real quick. That's legit. One brand. Look at that, Jimmy! Let's see more.
Okay.
You need fruit trees that are shaped more, you know, Christmas tree or umbrella-ish, you know, and a lot of them become trees and they go up high and you can't reach their branches. So therefore people are a little discouraged of it. But when somebody stewarded that, and like, I want to meet the man who planted those trees, you know, like to me, that's somebody who loved people. He loved nature. He loved creation. Like somebody thinks about the future enough to plant a tree or a perennial instead of an annual. Like, she's learning a lot of those lessons with the garden. The garden space we put in together, this big island right here in the driveway, where we did a mixture of both, because she has this love for annuals, which I understand they're a staple of a lot of our diet.
More just herbs.
She loves herbs. No, but you love the lettuces, honey.
Yeah,
You're
true.
a lettuce lady.
I do like
you
lettuce
love your greens.
and Swiss chard.
And we know how to do that. I took master's classes from JM Fortier and urban farming classes from Curtis Stone. Like, guys, these have been my mentors forever. I bought their book. Hold on. This is The Urban Farmer. These are like the guys who showed me how to do like high density crop. Curtis Stone and JM Fortier to me are some of the best when it came to that model. But I learned doing this, I hate it. I'm super honest with you. I absolutely hate row gardening. I hate it. I hate annual row gardening. It makes me want to throw my head through a stinking building like a child screaming in my ear. Like, it's awfully hot, heavy, exhaustive work that is forcing nature to comply with the constraints that I want to maximize yields and production. And I get it. It's great when you want to walk out and you want to harvest lettuce. That's amazing. Like, that's amazing. And there's a way to do that best. And that is an excellent way of doing it. But it requires high inputs of time and amendments to the soil, because you're doing it often in a way that means you got to bring in lots of stuff. Annuals soak up so much from the battery bank. They're like going to deplete it to a 20% charge, right? Perennials understand they're going to, because an annual wants to put out this big, huge, giant, showy piece of lettuce and seeds and big old corn chunk. And they're like, we better put it all into that and we better die and get out of here. Perennials are like, dude, we're going to be here a while. How about we not nuke our battery bank right on the first run? Like, they're marathon endurance athletes. They understand they're going to be here a long time. That's why they feed the soil health. But if you start pumping in all of the synthetic fertilizers, you get them hooked on the drugs early on. They're like, yes, we can approve your 3-year-old for bipolar medication for life. What could go wrong? We could get rich. Greediness for gain, and those who practice pharmacia shall be thrown alive into the lake of fire. Anyways, we're trying not to imitate that, because I've seen a lot of Adderall and Ritalin kids, and they're a disaster because they're like wild goats instead of being children and little lambs like they were made to be raised on pasture. But instead they're raised in confines and like trapped animals inside these cages, you know? And it's like, yeah, compulsory schooling has created a bunch of caged animals that are sick and nearly dead and biting and eating and cannibalizing each other. That's what the chicken looks like when you give it that expression. But a chicken can look like something entirely different, which is why these people are like my other mentors. Like I talk about these guys. Joel Salatin,
This is the one that's helping us with scaling our homestead to what we live in. This is Polyface Micro. His farm is called Polyface Farm. It's in Virginia. You can go to tours. It's open 24 hours. Not open, but it's available to be toured anytime because they want people to know an open door policy is our farm needs to have the excellency of standards on the best way to do things. But it's about how to express all of these things and manage these things in a much more conducive, beneficial way. And I love it. And this is the people that have changed my life so we can have wonderful, happy hens, wonderful, happy wife.
Happy Hens Club.
And you know what? It requires a great deal extra time, labor, intentionality, and the sweat of our face, and a whole lot of my blood, sweat, and tears. And I love it. And men were made to do this. We were made to be farmers. I know you think maybe not, because that sounds ridiculous. And you're thinking of some dude in a tractor pushing buttons. And you know what? It's so much more rich of that. When I can show you guys the fruit of my labors over time. Because yes, we did a mixture of it in here. And what have you noticed? He's got a book.
Oh, I was just gonna pull out this guy.
Our annuals in this gardenscape are not doing as well. David the Good is also one who balances that with his grocery row gardening. David the Good, check him out. Very few of these people know me personally. You know what I mean? Some of them I do. But his methodology is one of my blends between her and I. She likes the row stuff.
We watched the grocery row gardening and we were like, yes, this is it. This is amazing. Because he's like, yes, the permaculture. And I'm like, yes, the annual vegetable garden meets permaculture. And they're harmonious.
God.
And they can live in rows together. And so you have your trees and your bushes. And then you have your vegetables in there. And they're intermixed. And they're climbing on each other. And they're growing in harmony. That's this. It's amazing. So anyway, that's kind of what we started doing with these little, Nathan likes to call them permaculture islands.
Food forest islands.
Food forest.
Polycultures.
Food forest islands. That's what we're kind of doing because I'm like, I love marigolds and herbs and Swiss chard and, you know, throw a couple tomatoes in there and throw a couple of this. And Nathan's like blueberries and honeyberries and I don't know. What else? Apple trees and
Garlic chives.
Yeah.
She loves them.
we have some feverfew in there. We have some strawberries, which are perennials.
Ever-bearing strawberries. We also have some peas and beans that I like to sow in amongst the mulch and stuff like that.
Calendula.
Yes. I like to throw in things. So in my food forest islands, I build lots of perennials, but then I put in some stuff that's going to give them the quick hit, you know? Because Jubilee's my berry girl. My girl loves
they
berries.
love stevia too.
They love stevia. We put stevia plants.
Snackers.
So I plant stuff in there that they can get a reward on now. Because I understand that most of us are conditioned to we want it now.
That's why the blueberry bushes are cool because you can have some berries now, or the strawberries. You can have berries now and a lot more later on.
That. So
Very
like
cool.
I want to plant black walnuts, right? That might be 10, 20, 30 years before I get some, right? A chestnut might be 7, 10, 15 years before I'm like just heavy laden with chestnuts. Like I have a willingness to invest in the future of a landscape, whereas a lot of people don't. They want to get and extract at short-term gains.
The instant gratification.
But it's because we were raised this way. We were raised this way. We were raised.
It's our culture.
We were raised to race to the bottom.
But we want to get it out to you guys. But we just haven't been to a place where we're going to be able to do a meetup. But we're thinking maybe the end of the summer.
And we might have a legend there. The OG. Original grinders. Hey, there is another meetup that's happening though.
There
for those of you
is!
that are ready. Dang it, Derek and Misty, we love you guys. You're ferocious warriors.
wonderful.
There's some mighty Gibberine
Mennonites.
out there, and there's
That's
some
right.
of them. Yeah, they ain't having none of that foolish riffraff stuff. But we will announce the dates. Listen,
It's June 23rd. June 23rd.
Tell them.
I
Just so
don't.
you can look it up on
June 23rd.
June 23rd. We'll put
And
the
it's
details
at like
below.
Mill Spring Park or something like that. Like that sounds amazing. Doesn't that sound amazing?
What state?
Indiana.
Anyways, we will put the details for that in the description below, or if you want to contact them and stuff like that. But you can bring your seeds and your
But
exchanges
there's
of
a
fruits
lot of
and
hardcore
plants.
Lennonites up there, and they are so excited to meet you all and gather together and just, you guys, I guess there's a spring like coming out of a cave you guys could immerse in, and there's just a beautiful park, and there's going to be sourdough starters and wonderful linen garments.
Seed
and
swaps and
all kinds of
deadly plant
awesome
exchange.
stuff. So these people are so amazing. We got to meet them at one of our meetups that we had in Missouri, and it was just a fantastic time. They're a wonderful family, and they so graciously have had it on their hearts to want to host a meetup for y'all. Isn't that amazing? In Indiana. So anyone
within about 72 hours of travel time, you
anyone
can get there.
from anywhere should go. If you can make it, it's gonna be amazing.
Anyways, we love you guys. It's been
Love you.
absolutely terrific. It's been brutal. It's been horrific. It's been absolutely marvelous.
It's been busy.
And there's
it's been
abundance.
poopy.
It's been full of fruitfulness, though. You know what? The good fruit will be there long term, and that's what we're here for. We're here for the long term endurance race because we got to endure till the end and see that we might be saved. So praise be to Yah. We work out our salvation with fear and trembling every day, and we pray for you guys to grow mightily in words and deeds and in powers in the ways of Yah. That His favor would be upon all of you who do and live according to His will. We love y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.